Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. We're into 3 weeks of this, starting on our 4th. Isn't that crazy? Parents update. They're home. They seem to be doing reasonably well. No fever for the last 3 days. So hopefully I'll be able to see him soon. That's really been the hardest part. And I want to talk to you about mental hygiene, right? I've been talking about this for a while, that mental hygiene is as important as washing your hands, that you have to disinfect your thoughts. Tonight I was involved in a church service in New Orleans, which was super fun. My friend, Pastor Rice Brooks, who wrote the God's Not Dead movies. If you haven't seen them, they're great. Asked me to join them, and I got to answer lots of questions and talk about this whole idea of mental hygiene. So over the coming days and weeks, we'll talk a lot more about that. But it's really about disciplining your mind, just like you discipline your body. I mean, so often people are like, they're going on a diet, they're trying to lose weight, and they're trying this or that, but they forget the most important organ to get in shape is your brain, because when your brain works right, you work right, and when it doesn't, you don't. So having a mental discipline is just absolutely essential. And so yesterday we talked about part 1 of mental hygiene is you got to know what you want in your relationships, in your work, in your money, in your physical, emotional, and spiritual health. What do you want? And then ask yourself every day, does my behavior get me what I want? And if it doesn't, don't do it. And I know that sounds simplistic, but if your behavior is not getting you what you want in your relationships, your work, your money, your physical, emotional, or spiritual health, then don't do it. But you really have to set yourself up to win. And how do you set your... Hello, Michael. So nice to see you there. You have to set yourself up to win. And some of that just comes with structure. Structuring your day on... I'm like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I am so busy. It sort of blows me away. Although I did take 5 hours today and organize my office, my bathroom. Like the girls were like cleaning the house, like, okay, cleaning day. And so I did my part. Thank you very much. And then I threw a lot of stuff out. But I digress. Structure. And you know what structure starts with? Sleep. Getting good sleep. Making sleep a priority. If you do that one thing, pretty soon I'm going to do something on grief and loss, because there's just so much of it. And if I had to give people one tip about grief and loss, it's first fix your sleep, because so many other things will be better if you fix your sleep. In fact, in the end of mental illness. I hope you get it if you don't have it. The idea behind it is if you want to, it's not mental, it's brain, right? Let's get that right. And if you want to keep your brain healthy or rescue it if it's headed to the dark place, you have to prevent or treat the 11 major risk factors that steal your mind. And we know what they are. And I created this mnemonic with my team called Bright Minds. And the S in Bright Minds is for sleep. So let me just open that up. And so structuring your day starts with getting good sleep. Because if you don't get good sleep, your day is not going to go like you want. Plus, if you have cravings, if you have an addiction, if you have ADD, if you have depression, if you have anxiety, not sleeping makes all of those things worse. That you're actually, if you don't sleep right, you're more likely to have a relapse if you have an addiction. If you don't sleep, your depression is likely to get worse. Your anxiety is likely to get worse. Brain fog and ADD is likely to get worse. And so in the end of mental illness, I have this cool writing device I like called If I Was an Evil Ruler. And I wanted to increase the incidence of mental illness in America. What would I do if I was an evil ruler? Well, I'd mess with people's sleep by making them addicted to TV and social media so that they tune into stressful news before bed, read emails late into the evening, respond to texts in the middle of the night, and tweet outrageous messages and posts to Facebook or Instagram at all hours. So if I was an evil ruler, I'd basically create current American society. No one should ever be tweeting in the middle of the night. You're not likely to tweet something useful. If I was an evil ruler, I'd encourage people to regularly cross several time zones for work, giving them jet lag. Now, I know during the pandemic, we're not likely to do that. If I was an evil ruler, I'd refuse to give up the outdated practice of twice a year time change that messes with people's sleep. I hate that. It's unnecessary. It was useful decades ago. We don't need to do that anymore. If I was an evil ruler, I'd start school early to diminish sleep time, which increases many forms of brain health, mental health issues. It's why I homeschool Chloe, my 16-year-old. She came to me in 8th grade and she's like, she was starting to act and was just really busy and she wanted to homeschool. And as a child psychiatrist, I've been a huge fan of homeschooling for a long time because then parents really do have way more influence on children. But the number one reason that I said yes was she would sleep at least another hour a day. Wow. And on average, children who get on average just one less hour sleep than their peers have a higher incidence of depression and suicide. Sleep is this important. And think about it. On average, in 1900, Americans got 9 hours of sleep at night. Now, on average, in 2020, Americans get 6 hours and 40 minutes of sleep a night. You can't go through that sort of evolutionary change in such a small part of human history without some pretty serious negative impact on your life. So, huge fan of homeschooling. If I was a good ruler, also in the book, if I was a good ruler, I'd limit social media and TV so people can get to sleep early and get the rest they need. I'd limit excessive travel to reduce the incidence of jet lag. And I predict after the pandemic, video conferencing is going to go way up. I did the whole Dr. Phil show, basically sitting here on my computer. And it went well. I don't mind going to Paramount Studios. That's actually sort of fun. But I am on a virtual event in Russia. And when they invited me, I'm like, I would love to do that by video conference. So I think that's going to be part of what we do. If I was a benevolent ruler, I'd get rid of the time change. I'd encourage people to get brain healthy habits. And so, I'm going to do a whole live chat just on sleep. But this one's not just on sleep. It's about routine. So when you think of the routine, it starts with sleep. Love it. So you got to make it important to you. Avoid anything that hurts it. Caffeine, nicotine, alcohol. And people go, but I drink to go to sleep. Right, but ultimately it messes with your sleep. And it decreases the stages of sleep that give you rest. So alcohol is not helping your sleep. A warm room, a noisy room, and distractions. Don't sleep with the animals. Now, Aslan, my white shepherd, who some of you have seen because he crashes some of my live chats, but he's in a kennel and he's locked up at night. It's a big kennel, so don't feel bad for him. And otherwise, animals bother you at night and they disrupt your sleep. Also, if you have a small bladder, not saying anything personally, try not to have anything to drink after 6 or 7 so you don't wake yourself up. So your bladder's not waking you up repeatedly. Sleep is really important. I have a Fitbit. I get no money from Fitbit, but I look and track my sleep every night. All right, so if you're going to get a successful routine, sleep is number one, because then when you wake up, don't look at your phone. Have a routine that puts your mind in the right space for the day. So soothe your mind, but also focus your mind on what do you want to accomplish that day. And if you've heard me say before, I start every day with today is going to be a great day. Even when my parents were in the hospital, every morning I wake up and I just think to myself, today is going to be a great day. Now, those of you who struggle with depression, the mornings are the hardest. And let me tell you why. When we first wake up, our frontal lobes are sleepy, but our emotional brain is busy. And part of it depends on the quality of your dreams, but people who are depressed tend to wake up feeling sort of sad and blue, or they feel worried when they first open their eyes. And it's not until they move around that they're activating blood flow to their brain and they begin to feel better. And so if that tends to be you, as soon as you open your eyes and the bad thoughts come, get up and go do something. Even if you're just walking around the house a little bit. And one thing that seems to help a lot of people, we just interviewed Julianne Hough this week for our podcast, is get some lemon water. What Tana does is she squeezes some lemon into hot water, puts a little cayenne pepper in it, and just uses it sort of as a detoxifying wake-up drink. And I'm usually up before her, so in my mind, today is going to be a great day. Take the dog out, feed the cat, feed him, and then I make her an almond milk cappuccino. I've told some of you about it. It's great. And then by the time she's up, we sit and we talk for half an hour just to sort of connect. So today is going to be a great day, a waking up ritual. And then I start meetings at work, but I do them walking. And you don't always have to be on video conference. So, we do ours on Zoom and I'm just on audio, but I'm totally paying attention while I walk. And so, and if it's outside and it's nice and it's windy, I just put myself on mute unless I need to be the one. So right away, I'm putting exercise in my life, and I multitask. I can do a meeting while I'm getting steps. And oh, by the way, here's a secret very few people know. If you have an oppositional child, or you have an oppositional employer or employee, and you really want to talk to them about something important, go for a walk. Because exercise increases serotonin availability in the brain, and people just get more flexible over time. So if you really need to talk to someone about something important, go for a walk. But don't bring up the issue for about 10 minutes. And at about the 10-minute mark, they become a little bit more flexible. And the conversation is much more likely to go well than you just hit it with them right after they woke up when they're in a dark place. See? Practical neuroscience. So plan your day. Know what you want to accomplish. Get in time with people that are important to you. Exercise. And then do the important things first is what I've always find. I'm super good on email. And I do a lot of management, both with my daily huddles where I talk to my team, but then keeping up with email. But I always do the important things first, things that will make the biggest difference. And then I usually have a snack mid-morning just to keep my blood sugar and energy up. And I think protein in the morning is really important. I am horrified by what most people feed their children: sugar, sugar cereals, pancakes, waffles, Pop-Tarts, donuts, pastries. No, it just makes no biological sense that whenever you get a sugar burst, all of those things are mostly pure sugar and unhealthy fat. Your blood sugar goes up, your pancreas sees it, produces insulin, which then drops it, making you have brain fog. I know this one woman, every morning she'd stop at Winchell's Donuts, get 2 donuts and a Coke, and that's what would be the kids' breakfast and her breakfast. And no wonder her brain was mud, and she had anxiety attacks and so on. Not a good thing to do. So whether it's eggs or a protein shake, many people don't know that BrainMD, our supplement company, makes both chocolate and vanilla protein powder that is the cleanest protein powder you'll ever taste. And it tastes amazing. no sugar, tastes great. It's made with pea protein. It's awesome. And it's got 20 grams of protein. So what I'll often do is take a cup of blueberries, a cup of kale or spinach, a little bit of chocolate stevia, and that'll be breakfast. It's like 210 calories, and calorie smart, lots of protein. I love frozen blueberries. Costco actually has organic frozen blueberries that taste great. So feeding my brain, feeding the connection, getting some exercise. And it's like, well, I don't have time. Well, now you do. And now is the perfect time to get healthy. Now is the perfect time to get into a routine that you like. And then I'll have a mid-morning stack. I like to make guacamole, take half of an avocado, cut up some veggies. I have cut up veggies in the fridge, whether it's bell peppers, red, orange, green, bell peppers, celery, carrots. I love guacamole, and I actually just like to munch on veggies. And I know some of you are going, ew, trust me, you'll get used to it over time. Because I love my body way more than I love ice cream. Used to love ice cream, but then I realized it didn't love me back, that I was in an abusive relationship with ice cream. And then, I'll either see patients or have meetings for work, answer email. And then I'm already planned to have a brain healthy lunch, often a salad with some protein. And BrainMD also makes Brain and Love bars and Brain on Joy. So that's usually sort of my sweet snack. It's healthy, dark chocolate with no sugar, but tastes amazing. It's got erythritol and stevia as its sweeteners. And then in the afternoon, again, I'm either seeing patients, having meetings, and if I can do them walking, I'll sometimes get 12 or 15,000 steps a day just because the meetings where I'm walking, that's how I keep healthy. And one of the reasons I do that is I read a study where when you're 80 years old, so that's actually not that far off for me, it's 15 years. When you're 80 years old, if you walk 3 miles an hour, there's a 90% chance you will live until you're 90. But if you're 80 and you can only walk a mile an hour, there's a 90% chance you will not live until you're 90. And I'm like, okay, walk like you're late. Plus, there's a study head-to-head against Zoloft. People who exercise 4 times a week, walking like they were late, was equally effective, people with depression, equally effective, wow, at 12 weeks, more effective at 10 months. Isn't that amazing? So here's a question. When you work at 6 a.m., drinking caffeine is really bad. I'm not a fan of caffeine just because of all the potential negative effects of it. If you have a cup a day, not the biggest deal in the world, of course, depending on the cup. A venti from Starbucks has 330 milligrams of caffeine. That's an addiction level of caffeine. So it's always how big is the cup. Kimberly, I'm glad you love walking. I'm actually really a big fan of walking. And table tennis, I'm teaching my niece now that we're home. My goal by the end of April, she is going to have a wicked serve. Table tennis. But get into a routine that serves your goals. So mental hygiene part 1, know your goals. Mental hygiene part 2, get in a routine. Develop a brain healthy routine. Start the morning with today is going to be a good day. Make sure your fuel is good during the day. It's so funny. I'm also a child psychiatrist, so I see lots of kids. And when I talk to them about diets, I go, what's your favorite car? And it used to be a Camaro or a Mustang or a Ferrari. And I'm like, well, would you ever put salt in the gas tank? And the smart kids would go, no. That's why you don't eat bad food, right? If you never put bad fuel into your car because your car is important to you, why would you ever put bad fuel into your body unless you were sort of an idiot? But now they all say Tesla. They all want a Tesla. And so there's no gasoline with Tesla. But you wouldn't want to put dirty electricity into the Tesla. Your brain resists routine. Shannon, hi Shannon. Then you just work on it. You don't, so you just see it as a problem to solve because routine actually sets you free to do the things you love. And I think routine, like organization, is essential to have the kind of mind that helps you rather than hurts you. There's a question on, do you have thoughts on suppressing nerve pain that interrupts sleep? For some of my patients, gabapentin can be really helpful. With that, I have knee pain, and I use a combination of omega-3 fatty acids, SAMe, that BrainMD makes, and brain curcumins. So those three products really help my pain so I can do the walking that I want to do. If you have a peripheral neuropathy, alpha lipoic acid has also been found to be helpful. So from Iraq, that is so exciting. Well, good morning to you. And then, dinner, again, it's a routine. And Tana's just been doing a great job during the pandemic of cooking every night. It's so funny. We were so busy before that now we all cook together. Tana takes the lead. We eat together. We talk together. We clean up the dishes together. And then I come talk to you when they're watching the 100 for the second time. But anyways, the routine about, does it fit? Does it fit your relationships? Does it fit your money? Does it fit your work? Does it fit your goals? And I'm hoping out of the pandemic that people will be less scheduled. That they'll really, what I really want you to do is figure out what's important to you and then really focus on those relationships and those activities that are important to you. And it's time with your loved ones that is most important, not taking the kids here or there. So you're so busy you don't actually have time to have eye contact. My opinion on a ketogenic diet, I have a granddaughter that has a seizure disorder. The ketogenic diet kept her seizure free for about 5 years. I'm a huge fan of ketogenic diets for the right people. Not really for everybody because there's not enough vegetables in it. And I think of vegetables like the pharmacy, F-A-R-M, but the pharmacy. And I'm not a fan of medication for sleep. BrainMD has a brand new product that we actually couldn't keep in stock. I think we're going to get it. We have it back in stock now called Put Me to Sleep. It's chewables, take anywhere from 1 to 4 at night, and it has melatonin, magnesium, theanine, 5-HTP, and GABA, and it's just spectacular in how it works. Amitriptyline actually can help with nerve pain. I see that on the discussion. Often really low doses. The problem with amitriptyline has a boatload of side effects, and you just have to be careful with it. But it's been one of the most effective antidepressants that can help with sleep and also help with pain. Melatonin and magnesium's fine. I'm a huge fan. Melatonin actually has been shown to help boost people's immune system. So I am a fan of that. So I would ask yourself as you go through your day, does it serve your goals or does it hurt your goals? Another little fun fact, if you have a sauna, saunas have been found to be a treatment for depression. I have a sauna at home. My daughter, who's really getting into cabin fever, says that helps her. And don't forget that the number of fruits and vegetables you have a day, up to 8. Sneak in as many as you can get, because there's a linear correlation between the number of fruits and vegetables you eat a day and your level of happiness. So 8, you're happier than if you had 6. And if you had 6, you're happier than if you had 4. And 4, you're happier than if you had 2 or none. There's a question about L-tryptophan, which is the amino acid precursor for serotonin, and it can be helpful for sleep. I actually like 5-HTP better because L-tryptophan breaks down to 5-HTP, which then goes to serotonin. You also need B6 in there. And so I find 5-HTP more effective, but they both can be effective. I am not a fan of sleeping pills because once you like Ambien, just not. So our name of the supplement with SAMe is called BrainMD SAMe. Once you start Ambien, my mom was on it. She couldn't stop it. And I mean, obviously I didn't put her on it, but her primary care doctor did. And really without doing any of the natural strategies. We have a course at Amen University. So if you like these live chats, we actually have 9 courses online. We're just ready to launch Memory Rescue, a brand new course. We have a course done by Dr. Shane Criado, who is a psychiatrist in our Chicago clinic, who is also a board certified sleep doctor. And he has a new book out on sleep. His last name is spelled Creado, Shane Criado. But you can take Overcoming Insomnia and really figure out your sleep issue. Now, one more thing. Are you a lark or a night owl? So larks, and I'm sort of a lark, like 6:30, I'm up. Tana doesn't really want to get up till 7:30. Some people don't really want to get up until 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And it's just how they were born. They're people whose circadian rhythm wake them up early with the sun. So we call them larks. And there are other people that their best time is 8 or 9 o'clock at night. What are you? And did you know the world actually discriminates against night owls? School starts early, but these kids are really hard to wake up, and then we blame them. And it's just their circadian rhythm. And then we expect them to go to bed early so that they can get up early. And when they don't fit society, they get discriminated against in school, in the workplace. And that's just not fair. That really we should know someone's optimal time of function and try to adjust it for the individual rather than for the group. And it's one of the things I really like about homeschooling is you can sort of adjust that. And during the pandemic, you want to honor their natural sleep cycle rather than force them into fitting, this is what we decided as a society. Because remember what I said earlier, teenagers who get just 1 hour less a night's sleep on average have a higher incidence of depression and suicide. Sleep is so important. So if I was going to say routine for success, the number one strategy, hopefully all you getting this, is sleep. That sleep is critical. Leave comments, questions, or concerns. You can also download our podcast, the Brain Warriors Way podcast. I think it's got over 7 million downloads now. The one from last week was Kelly Vlahakis on how to clean your house. She is the president and CEO of Earth Friendly Products. They make the Ecos brand in your store. It was so practical. I see the comment on grief. I am going to do one soon on grief and loss. I'm sort of putting together my notes on that. I know this is a hard time, but, as I work with this Olympic athlete, this Olympic swimmer, and his swimming coach really helps him with technique, but there's no training on mental training. Mental hygiene is absolutely critical to surviving a pandemic. Mental hygiene, absolutely critical in thriving in anything you do. And my hope for you is you're going to take this time because you're a hero. If you stay home and you really keep your family safe and you fight off this virus and you don't infect other people, you're a warrior. I mean, our heroes in this fight are really, the people working in the grocery store and healthcare workers for certain, and the drivers and the people working in essential businesses. And I have to tell you how grateful I am for the Amen clinics. All 8 of them are open. We're seeing people, mostly virtually, but we're still scanning in all of our clinics. And so they're my heroes. But all of you are warriors. And by doing the right thing, that's how we're going to beat this pandemic. And how you're going to beat it for yourself is you have to strengthen your immune system. That's your biggest defense. And if you scroll down my page, I did a live chat on immunity. That's how you're going to be a soldier in this fight. All right. Have a great night. I'll see you soon.